One other issue you're facing is the fallout from the Alex Salmond trial. The former First Minister was acquitted of all charges of inappropriate behaviour and sexual misconduct. He was a former close friend and mentor of yours, and I wonder what you felt like when you heard the verdict.
The day I heard the verdict, I was immersed in dealing with coronavirus, and I'm not trying to kind of dodge the question, but actually I was. Most of my, pretty much all of my thinking that day and in the days leading up to that and in the days since have been about coronavirus. Look, there's going to be inquiries, parliamentary inquiries, where I'll have the opportunity to have my say and be asked questions and scrutinised, and I'll deal with that in the fullness of time.
But just one more on that. More people are becoming vocal, alleging conspiracy around people close to you to bring him down. So what do you say to that?
There was no conspiracy. It's a heap of nonsense, but I'll, as I say, in the fullness of time, get the opportunity to elaborate on that view. In the fullness of time, get the opportunity to elaborate on that view. Get the opportunity to elaborate on that view. Get the opportunity to elaborate on that. I don't know. I don't know where the leak came from. Not to the best of my recollection. I don't know the answer to that question. I don't know whether that was something we considered. I do not know. I'm not aware that I am making assumptions here, and I do not recall anything. I don't remember. I am not aware of my recollection of the conversation with Jeff is not as vivid as I wish it was. I can't recall. Remember if he told me the name. I can't remember the exact phraseology of it. I can't recall, and I would need to check. I can't remember if that's the technical term. And I don't have a recollection. I don't recall. If memory serves me correctly, I may be getting the 1 and 2 round the wrong way here. I can't tell you. I don't know of anything that was that. I can't recall all the ins and outs of this. Would have to check the precise dates here. I'd have to check the detail. So I cannot sit here and say definitively that none of that happened. I mean, I can't sit here and tell you exactly on what day. I didn't know. I am not in possession at this point and all the information. I don't know. I don't have the dates of that.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure. I can't give you specific answers to that right now. I don't know. I can't immediately recall exactly what it said. I don't know. I didn't know for certain. I didn't know it was certain. I didn't remember this meeting, and I asked myself, how could I have, forgotten that? I don't know. So I don't know. I don't recall trying to think, when was it I found out about this? I can't remember. I don't know. What I don't recall is...
I note that the First Minister asserts that I have to prove a case. I don't. That has already been done. There have been 2 court cases, 2 judges, 1 jury. In this inquiry, it's the Scottish Government, a government which has already admitted to behaving unlawfully, who are under examination. Secondly, my interest in assisting this inquiry is out of respect for our Parliament. I have made no personal public comment on these matters of any kind for 11 months, not a single television interview or press interview or statement. I have turned down hundreds of such offers, which, as committee members will know, has not hitherto been my normal policy. I have watched with growing frustration over the last 6 months while this committee has been systematically deprived of the evidence it has legitimately sought. Indeed, I'm just about your only witness who has been actively trying to present you with evidence as opposed to withholding it. As we saw this week, even after it is published, it is then unpublished by intervention of a Crown Office who should not be questioning the will of Parliament. I watched in astonishment on Wednesday when the First Minister of Scotland, used a COVID press conference, to effectively question the result of a jury. Still, I said nothing. Well, today, that changes. I have no incentive or advantage in revisiting the hurt and shock of the last 3 years from a personal perspective, or indeed from the perspective of 2 complainants failed by the government and then forced directly against their express wishes into a criminal process. This now admitted action neither served the wishes of the complainants nor the interests of justice. For 2 years and 6 months, this has been a nightmare. In fact, I have every desire to move on, to turn the page, to resist talking yet again about a series of events which have been amongst the most wounding that any person can face. But the reason I'm here today is because we can't turn that page nor move on until the decision-making which is undermining the system of government in Scotland is addressed. The competence and professionalism of the civil service matters. The independence of the Crown Office as acting in the public interest matters. Acting in accordance with legal advice matters. Concealing evidence from the courts matters. The duty of candour of public authorities matters. Democratic accountability through Parliament matters. Suppressing evidence from parliamentary committees matters. And yes, ministers telling the truth to Parliament matters. The day such things come to not matter would be a dark and dangerous one for Scotland. Collectively, these events shine a light on a government whose actions are no longer true to the principles of openness, accountability and transparency, which are the core principles on which this Scottish Parliament was founded. I remember I was there. The failures of leadership are many and obvious, and yet, Convener, not a single person has taken responsibility, not a single resignation, not a single sacking, not even an admonition. Instead, we have promotions or extensions of contracts and self-serving defences. The government acted illegally, but somehow nobody's to blame. Delay and obstruction in making evidence available. A committee has been asked to do its job with both hands tied behind its back and a blindfold on. Witness after witness later adjusting evidence delivered under oath. Were it not for the independence of the judiciary, the robust scrutiny of the Court of Session and the common sense of a jury made up of members of the public, the matters before this committee would never have come to light, and indeed no one would have cared about this inquiry. The Scottish courts emerged from these events with a reputation enhanced. Can those leading the government and the Crown Office say the same? Some people say that the failures of these institutions, the blurring of the boundaries between party, government and prosecution service, mean that Scotland is in danger of becoming a failed state. I disagree. The Scottish civil servant hasn't failed. Its leadership has failed. The Crown Office hasn't failed. Its leadership has failed. Scotland hasn't failed. Its leadership has failed.